Welcome to All Pro Football Data. My name is Jim Coburn, and today's episode we're talking about top 10 quarterbacks in the 2025 NFL Draft preview. So, the 2025 NFL Draft is about less than a year away, actually, but I want to do a general top 10 ranking of all the quarterbacks who, what we know right now, how they would show up in that particular draft class. So, there's still another season to be played in 2024, but stay tuned into the end of the video where I reveal the number one prospect available in the 2025 NFL Draft class based on data. But until then, we're going to look at all the data of these prospects to see which of them has the best statistical shot of becoming a special quarterback in the NFL. There are multiple factors that go into this ranking as follows, including age, passing efficiency, and strength of schedule slash strength of schedule or strength of team and strength of schedule data. But with all that stuff out of the way, let's get to the list. So number 10 on this list of the 10th best quarterback prospects so far based on data for the 2025 NFL draft class is Cameron Ward, quarterback of Miami, Florida. So he transferred from Washington State to Miami, Florida, and this is how his data stacks out. His mobile quarterback score is 65.75 out of 100. His BQS score is 87.07. CQS is 79.04. MEAV is his mobile data score, which is 67.95. PEAV is his pocket passer data score, which is 70.78. His sack rate is 26.31 out of 100, and his biggest pro would be passing efficiency, and his biggest con would be his conversion rate. And if you want to learn more about the stuff I just mentioned, as far as a glossary, you can go down into the link in the description below, and there'll be a glossary of terms there. But taking a look at his mobile quarterback score in particular, he had a really decent mobile quarterback score. Not the best, but within range of what you would expect out of a quarterback prospect like this. His quarterback score or his passing efficiency scores were also decent. So taking a look at it from here, he had an 87 percentile BQS score and a 79 percentile CQS or career quarterback score based on his passing efficiency. And this also takes into account his strength of schedule and strength of team that he played on for his efficiency. So that's another factor to consider here. When you look at another aspect, which is a new thing I'm going to be unveiling out, which is situational statistics. Taking a look at his situational statistics, there are a little bit of concerns here. So, in terms of his first down completion percentage for every down and distance, it's not the best. It's about 43 percentile. His TD percentage as well is only 45. His 15-yard plus, or the percentage of his passes that were 15-yard plus was 69, and then 25-yard plus was 56. When you look at the average for NFL quarterbacks that are 95 to 99 percentile or 90 to 99.99 percentile at the NFL level, he isn't quite near those players. So he definitely is at least above the majority of the thresholds at the position for a starting quarterback. But his overall data from a situational standpoint is not the best in terms of his ability to get completions, touchdowns, and the distances of his throws in terms of 15-yard and 25-yard plus passes. Now, his conversion rate is another area that is a little bit of a concern. So, taking a look at his his third down conversion rate, which is the number of passes that were converted on third down, it's not the best. It's below average. He also had a below average first down conversion rate, which also is a little bit of a concern as well. So these are areas where there is some concerns. I mean, he is number 10 on this list after all, but these are things that he could improve this year. But if he doesn't, you're going to have him probably end up being more of a journeyman backup type guy if he doesn't improve these numbers this year. Then, of course, you get to number 9 on this list, and this is somebody in Jackson Dart, quarterback from Ole Miss, that has a lot of potential, guys. There's a lot of positives in terms of what he was able to accomplish last year in 2023. It's just the bulk of his career data is not the best. So keep in mind, he's number 9 on this list, but he could end up becoming a top 5 quarterback if he does and maintains what he did last year, this year, from a data perspective. So his MQS was 82 percentile. His BQS is 85. CQS is 72. MEAV was 83. PEAV is 71. And his sack rate was 64. His biggest pro is the big play ability with him. He has a lot of ability to make really big plays down the football field. His biggest con comes down to his third down conversion rate, which we're going to get into right here. So taking a look at his mobile quarterback score, great numbers here for that. His passing efficiency, 85 percentile for his BQS, 71.99 for his career. That could get bumped up if he has a similar situation to what he had last year or better. This could up his career data up into the Pro Bowl starter range where you want it to be. So he's within range of being a starter to a Pro Bowler. But if he has another season like he had last year, this year, it can improve those numbers in terms of his CQS and his BQS. And then when you look at situational statistics for him, fantastic in terms of his first down conversion rate in every down and distance. His TD percentage was 71. His 15-yard plus passes was 99 percentile, meaning that compared to every single quarterback prospect since the 2009 NFL college football season, he was 99% better in terms of his ability to make 15-yard plus passes on a consistent basis. And his 25-yard pass percentage also was 97 percentile. So he is fantastic in terms of getting big plays down the football field and completing them. Now, when you get to his situational statistics, though, from a down and distance perspective, his third down completion or conversion rate was below the 40 percentile, which is not the best. He needs to bump that number up a lot. He really needs to start improving that number because you need to have at least above average in that respect in terms of third down conversion rate. But his other conversion rates are good, though. His first down and second down conversion rates are all within that 70 to 80 percentile range for that. So those are great numbers for him. It's just that that third down area is the biggest area that he needs to improve upon if he's going to be considered as a top 5 quarterback. That's why he's number 9 on this list. Even though he has big playability, his third down conversion rate is not where you want it to be as a prospect. Moving on to number 8 on this list, which is Carson Beck, quarterback out of Georgia. Taking a look at his MQS, he had a 56 percentile mobile quarterback score. BQS is 88.60. CQS is 88.60. There's only 1 year worth of college production that I have at my disposal for him. His MEAV is 68 percentile. His PEAV is 73. Sack rate is 96.88 out of 100. A lot of that can really come down to the offense he was playing on at Georgia, in terms of the talent they have in the offensive line. But even if you have the best offensive line, you could still take a lot of sacks, which we're going to see from a guy later on in this video. But these are good numbers for him to have. His biggest pro is passing efficiency. Biggest con is touchdown production. So taking a look at his mobile quarterback score here, average, again, it's not really going to hurt him that much. Nobody expects him to be like a dual threat quarterback, but he is more of a pocket passer in that respect. Looking at his passing efficiency, strong numbers here, but only 1 year worth of production. So you want to see improvement here, or at least to do what he did last year again or better. And then when you get to his situational statistics, really good in terms of first down conversion rate. His 15-yard plus passes were decent, 87 percentile in terms of 25 plus, but the TD percentage was 58 percentile. So you want to up that a little bit. He needs to get a little bit more touchdowns in terms of passing the football, but that's definitely a thing. And then his overall situational statistics are probably some of the best in this draft class from 1 year basis. So, when you look at his third down conversion rate, his second down and first down conversion rate as a passer, these are all fantastic numbers for him to have. But again, this is only 1 year worth of production, and you kind of want to see him do it again and to kind of improve this a little bit. So he's another quarterback that could be a top 5 quarterback in this particular draft class, but his data overall is not really pushing him up there just yet. He needs to kind of do some more things to help that out. Then, of course, we get to number 7 on this list, which is Quinn Ewers, quarterback out of Texas. His MQS was 47 percentile. BQS was 95. 73 percentile in terms of CQS. His mobile quarterback score was 72. His pocket passer data score was 78. And sack rate was 67%. Now, his biggest pro is passing efficiency. Biggest con is touchdown production. He's very similar to Carson Beck in that respect, but he has more than 1 season under his belt. So his mobile quarterback score is just kind of okay from that perspective. Again, we're not really viewing him as a dual threat quarterback based on this. His efficiency scores, he had a really great season, a 95 percentile area, but his career has only been 73.82 out of 100. So he needs to kind of do what he did that one really great season again. And I think that'll improve his career score up. And then when you look at his situational statistics, he's kind of a little bit all over the place. So he's really good in terms of 15-yard plus throws, but his 25 plus yard throws are not really there in terms of taking shots really, really far down the football field. It's not really there. His TD percentage also is low. His first down conversion rate is decent, but his third down conversion rate could use some work. So his first down and second down conversion rates are a lot better than third down area. So that's an area that I think he does need to improve upon. But these are solid numbers for a quarterback like him. But there are some things you want to see him kind of, do it again. He just lost two, well, more than two. He lost a lot of offensive talent at Texas. So we kind of want to see what he does with the new players around him to see if he can kind of duplicate what he did last year. And if he does, I think this will help him out a lot in the long run to maybe be a top five quarterback in this particular draft class. But that's only if those other quarterbacks don't improve. Because guys like Jackson Dart, Carson Beck, all those guys, if they improve, they could definitely blow him out of the water to a certain extent. Then, of course, you get to number 6 on this list, which is Shedeur Sanders, quarterback out of Colorado. Now, his MQS score was 21.92. Not his fault, though. A lot of this comes down to his sack rate. Now, BQS was great. His passing efficiency was 98 percentile. CQS was 98 percentile, only 1 year worth of FBS production. His MEAV was 72. His PEAV as a pocket passer was 84. And his sack rate was 4.78 out of 100. And I know what a lot of people are going to say about him, which is that he had a terrible offensive line at Colorado and he just is on a bad team and all that kind of stuff. But this is the thing, guys. Most NFL quarterbacks that are really great didn't have these types of sack rates at the college football level. So, yes, there is a bit of, blame that could be made on the offensive line, but you also have to get rid of that football, man. To a certain extent, you have to start doing that. So, from this perspective, I think the biggest pros is passing efficiency for him because despite all those issues on the offensive line and taking all those sacks, he still didn't really have a lot of turnovers. His biggest con, though, is sacks and big plays. He didn't have a lot of big plays, and there were a lot of sacks on this team. So, taking a look at him in terms of his mobile quarterback score, not the best, but again, I've seen his ability as a rusher. I think he does have that dual threat ability, but I think a lot of this may have to do with the offensive line. But he will need to prove that he can improve these numbers this year. Otherwise, I don't really see a top 10 selection in the future for him. Then when you look at his quarterback scores, probably the best passing efficiency out of this draft class in terms of his completion percentage and his touchdown to interception ratio. But the biggest issue comes down to situational statistics. So taking a look at situations here, his first down completion percentage was not that great. His TD percentage was decent, but his 15 plus yard passes was in the 20 percentile, and 25 yard plus passes was in the 29 percentile. All those areas are not that great. And then when you get to conversion rate, so he had an above average third down conversion rate in the 60 percentile for him, but take a look at his second down complete, conversion rate in terms of his ability to get first downs on second down, not that great. And then first downs on first down also was in the dumpsters there in terms of, in the below the 20 percentile area for him. So whether you want to blame it on his offensive line or whatever you want to blame it on, you can do that, but he really needs to improve these numbers if you're going to consider him being a top 10, top 5 selection, which is what some people have him as. So he does have some positives. I mean, the TD percentage is good. The third down conversion rate is decent, but he really needs to kind of up his game a little bit, and the team as a whole needs to up his game because nobody's going to draft a guy top 10 overall if his team only wins 5 football games. So that's an area that definitely needs to improve for him. And then, of course, you get to number 5 on this list, which is Kyle McCord, quarterback of Syracuse. So he transferred to Syracuse from Ohio State. His MQS was 1.44 out of 100, so not really much of a dual threat. His BQS and CQS was 91.48, only 1 year worth of FBS production. His MEAV, or mobile quarterback score, was 81 percentile. His PEAV, or pocket passer data score, was 89.92. And his sack rate was 61.55. The biggest pro for him would be his passing efficiency, with his biggest con being his dual threat production. Taking a look at his mobile quarterback score, it was probably one of the worst mobile quarterback scores I've ever seen at the position. But again, this could improve at Syracuse. But we'll just have to wait and see. Taking a look at his quarterback scores here, really great in terms of BQS and CQS. And I'm excited to see what he does at Syracuse. I think this is going to be an interesting quarterback for them to have and kind of see what he does and maybe ends up in the college football playoffs. You never know. But that's definitely going to be something interesting there. And then, of course, you look at situational statistics. All of his situational statistics is solid. His conversion rates are decent. First down percentage is decent. TD percentage is decent. And, 15, 25-yard plus throws is also there as well in terms of completions from that perspective. So decent all around numbers for him, and I think there is some interesting things for him to do this year. So we'll see what happens with him. Of course, we get to number 4 on this list, which is Jalen Milroe, a quarterback out of Alabama. His MQS was 90 percentile, BQS is 90.31, MEAV is 95.81, PEAV is 94.56, with a sack rate of 1.37 out of 100, which is extreme. It's a really high sack rate, guys. So that's something that really needs to improve. His biggest pro would be explosive plays, and the biggest con would be his sack rate. Now, when you look at his mobile quarterback score, he does everything that you would expect out of him as a dual threat quarterback, which is good. His passing efficiency score also is decent here. His situational statistics, if you look at it from this, is fantastic. So he was 99 percentile in terms of percentage of 15 plus yard plays. 25 plus plays was also 99 percentile in terms of percentage of plays down the field that were really high impact plays. So he's somebody that has, really great mobile quarterback ability. When he throws the football, he's taking shots down the football field, which is good. And then his conversion rates in every single down and distance is also decent, including his third down conversion rate, which is near really, really high up there in terms of that particular number. So he's a good prospect, guys, that I just think needs to improve his sack rate. And if he does improve that, at least get up into the 20 percentile range, I think you could project him as sort of a Jalen Hurts 2.0 type of prospect, or Cam Newton, or any other type of dual threat quarterback you could think of at the position. Then, of course, we get to number 3 on this list, which I know is a little bit surprising, but it is what it is. And Jalen Daniels, quarterback out of Kansas. Now, his MQS score is 90.18. His BQS is 97. His CQS is 91. MEAV, or mobile quarterback score, is 95. And the PEAV is 94. His sack rate is only 72.11. Biggest pro for him is passing efficiency. Really great passing efficiency overall for him. Biggest con is injury history. So he has had a lot of injuries in his career that's really kind of derailed his career to a certain extent, where he's kind of here and he's not here, he's here and he's not here, and that's kind of the biggest concern with him. But decent overall data for him. Now, when you look at his mobile quarterback score, he has everything you're looking for there. You look at his passing efficiency, he has everything that you're looking for there as well. And when you get to his situational statistics, hits all the numbers that you're looking for there in terms of really great outcomes for him. So I'm excited to see what he does this year. If another injury happens, I think you definitely have to drop him down the list. But in terms of a potential perspective, which is what data is all about, is who has the best potential to do some things. He's definitely on this list because of that, because of his age, his passing efficiency, and all his other factors are all really solid. It's just that injury history has really hurt him. So if he can improve his numbers in that respect, he could easily be one of the top 5 best quarterbacks in this draft class. But if he gets injured again, he definitely is going to be kind of going closer to the bottom of the list there. So great all-around data for him. But again, he needs to stay healthy, because the best ability is availability, as they say. So that's kind of the issue with him. Then, of course, we get to number 2 on this list, which is a surprise to me from a data perspective, but it's all going to make sense once you understand the ranking and how it works. So Drew Allar, the quarterback from Penn State, he had an MQS of 58. His BQS is 80. His CQS is 80. His MEAV is 91, and his PEAV is 96. His sack rate is 79.83. The biggest pro for him is his age. So like last year, when I was doing my quarterback data on this particular stuff, you go to my Patreon page at patreon.com/jcoburn and take a look at my quarterback ranks from that time. I had Caleb Williams as number 1, J.J. McCarthy as number 2 early, and a lot of that helped him was his age. The biggest thing that pushes Drew Allar to number 2 in this list is his age, because from what he's actually done on the football field has not been as good as the other quarterbacks I just mentioned on this list. He has a lot of growing to do, but he's so young that even though his production wasn't the best, if he takes another big step this year, all these numbers are going to improve, and he could be the second best quarterback from a potential perspective. So again, data isn't always about how good they are right now. It's also about how good they're going to be in the future. So I do understand if you look at this list and go, how the heck could you have this guy at number 2 when you have all these other quarterbacks that have been way better from a statistical standpoint? And again, the reason why is because of his age. He's produced so well at a younger age that there is that potential that this year in particular he could be as good as those other quarterbacks, and on top of that, also be younger than them as well. So that's kind of the biggest thing that kind of pushes him up on this list for him. So is that now the biggest con is his statistics. So that's the biggest thing. So let's take a look at it. So based on his mobile quarterback score, hits all the numbers you're looking for in that respect. His BQS again is in the 80 percentile range for that, but he definitely needs to have another season under his belt to really solidify and cement these things. But this is because some of the issues that he has. So again, it's from a situational perspective, which I'm still working on how to incorporate that in my data. But from a situational perspective, he does have issues. You know, his first down conversion rate is not the best. His TD percentage is decent. His 15-yard plus passes really low. His 7+ yard passes really low, and his conversion rates on third down, second down have to improve this year. So I don't really put situational statistics into my grading system. So the grading system I use doesn't really incorporate this stuff. If it did, it probably would push him down on the list. But based on the stuff that I have worked on and gotten, refined up to this point, he would be the number 2 best quarterback. But he does have a lot of work to do. So a lot of this is potential. It's based on what he could do in 2020. Based on what he did last year, can he improve a lot? And I believe he can. But based on data, he's at an age where he can. But he has a lot of work to do. So he really needs to bump up his 15-yard plus passes. He really needs to bump up his 25-yard passes. His first down conversion rate also needs to improve tremendously. But if he does improve these numbers, if he really does take that next step this year, he could easily be in the top 5 quarterbacks this year from a probability standpoint because of his age. His age really is writing a lot of his checks for him. So I understand if you want to take him out of the top 5 list, however you want to do your list is how you want to do it. But based on a data perspective, there are some concerns of him at number 2, but the potential is there to kind of push him up. So you just kind of want to see what he does this year for him. Of course, you get to number 1 on this list, which is Noah Fifita, quarterback out of Arizona. His MQS was 6. His BQS is 91. CQS is 91. MEAV is 96. And PEAV is 97 with a sack rate of 63.97. Biggest pro is passing efficiency. Biggest con is dual threat ability. Now, taking a look at his mobile quarterback score, not really there for him. His efficiency scores have been decent. And then when you look at situational statistics, he hits everything you want, but he does need to improve upon his second down conversion rate. So his conversion rate on second downs has been in the 40 percentile area for him. And I think that number definitely needs to improve for this to really make sense for him. But this is kind of how he stacks up from that perspective. But Noah Fifita is a really interesting quarterback prospect. Again, he has to have another year under his belt to really show some things. But I'm excited about him. He could be sort of like the next Tua to a certain extent. I understand Tua hasn't had the best fanfare, but he does have really solid data, guys. So I'm excited to see what happens with him, but he's definitely a strong prospect from an age perspective, a passing efficiency perspective, situational statistic wise, and I think there's a lot of interesting stuff with him. Then, of course, we get to the 2025 NFL Draft Outlook. So the 2025 NFL Draft class is shaping up to have a decent number of potential starters. How they perform in 2024 will determine the final grades. However, there are 4 quarterbacks with 90 percentile final data grades, 3 with 80 percentile, and 3 with 70 percentile final grades. That's approximately 10 quarterbacks who fit within the typical range for NFL starters. That doesn't mean that they'll meet those thresholds, but it's plenty of talent to work with. So I'm excited to see what this draft class is going to become. We just had a fairly strong quarterback class in terms of 2023. And I'm excited to see where we go in terms of this year. So I'm excited to see what happens. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about this particular draft class? Do you like it? Do you hate it? And what are some of your favorite quarterback prospects as well? And also, just to end this video a little bit as well, if you like this video, you want to see more like this. So if you want me to get into the running backs, the wide receivers, the tight ends, etc., this video gets 25 likes, I will get into that areas for the running back position. So I'll start working on that right away. So if you guys can get this video to 25 likes, I'll get that running back video out as soon as I can, okay? Otherwise, I'm just going to go at my regular pace with everything. So thank you guys so much for watching. Check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/jcoburn. Check out my X, formerly known as Twitter account, at Geometrics. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.